that's wild and free. He's cruising down the road, living like he's 23.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Big Mike's. Listen, I want to go ahead and do another video about the dangers of living in the Philippines. I've been getting a lot of emails. Okay, I haven't gotten any emails, but a couple people have asked me about dangers of living in the Philippines. And I will tell you that, as I said in a previous video, take a look at your own country, take a look at your own local newspapers to find out where the real dangerous place is. Because to be honest with you, in most cases, the dangerous places is in your country, not here. However, having said that, and a lot of folks are right now going gung-ho of getting here and buying a house or building a house, not really taking the time to look at what's going on in the South China Sea or internally. Now, I can tell you that I recently moved from northern Luzon. I consider that to be a very hostile environment towards Americans. I had one barangay captain tell us that we weren't welcome there. And one stone was thrown by a police officer, almost hit our daughter. A lot of anti-American type sentiment there, in spite of Americans spending billions of dollars on military armaments and training in the event there's an issue with China. So, I mean, Luzon, I would stay out of there. In addition to that, there are quite a few skirmishes, I guess you'd say, with some of the internal guerrilla groups. We had several of them not far from our house in the mountains, and yeah, pretty hairy. But again, like that, I'm raised in Houston, so I mean, getting in a battle zone is not uncommon for me. I mean, I've been in several shootouts myself, and you know, that's life in the world we live in today. But like I said, a lot of folks are concerned about coming to the Philippines. I would come for vacation. I wouldn't come for long term. I definitely wouldn't, you know, get into building a home. There's a very good chance, who knows how long, it could be a week, it could be 10 years before the Chinese are in here. Now, one thing I would highly consider, if you're not familiar with geography, is take a look at Taiwan. Taiwan is not far from here, and of course everyone knows that's been the big buzz for quite some time about China wanting to take over Taiwan. Well, if in fact they do make that move, we know where the Americans stand on it. We're going to support Taiwan for some reason. But if they do, where are they going to get those support groups from? Right here in the Philippines. And so I would say if the Chinese are going to go ahead and get Taiwan, I would think that they would try to knock out the American bases here in the U.S. first or at the same time. So either way, I don't think it looks good for the Philippines. And if you're going to build a home here, if you're spending all of your retirement money and you think it's going to be, you know, like Hawaii and safe and secure and nothing's going to happen, look at what happened in Hawaii in World War II. They got bombed. Pearl Harbor. Same thing's going to happen here. I see history repeating itself. Just a matter of time. It's not really a question when. It's a question, or excuse me, not a question if, it's a question when. I know right now they've had, you know, a decade or so, they've been having these pissing matches out in the South China Sea, or the, you know, the, what do they call it, the eastern, or the western Philippine Sea. I don't know which is the correct name, but they call them both. But that's been going on, and funny thing about that one, they beached a ship, so that basically planting their flag out there, the Philippines. And when they resupply this beached ship, they use boats to go over and resupply them. And of course, the Chinese come in and, you know, bump them, spray them, poke holes in their boats. Why are they even doing that? And if you're going to send a boat, why would you not send a support group with them? Because you know the Chinese are going to mess with them. Why not have your backup and your support team behind them? And why not just simply take a chopper and, you know, just like they would do special forces doing a rappelling down a rope. Drop your supplies at the end of a rope. What's going on there? It just all sounds too funny to me. And it seems like they're just waiting for a spark to, start a war. But in any event, like I said, a lot of folks, a lot of expats are coming. They're not paying, I don't feel like they're paying attention to world events or the events that's going on with China and things like that. Because to be honest with you, if I was going to sink all of my money and future into property, definitely wouldn't be here. This is not, it's like investing in Ukraine a few years ago before the war. Not a good move. So I think you're looking at a Ukraine here. I think the money is being pulled out of Ukraine, and now they're looking at the Philippines and China. So should be a pretty interesting time. But I'm going to go ahead and have Adam cover some statistics for you, some stuff you may or may not have known, and then I'll do a little commentary at the end. Be right with you.
Several guerrilla groups are currently active in the Philippines. Some of the most prominent ones include 1. New People's Army, NPA, the armed wing of the Communist Party of the Philippines, CPP. The NPA has been engaged in a protracted insurgency against the Philippine government since 1969, aiming to establish a communist state. 2. Abu Sayyaf Group, ASG, a militant Islamist group operating mainly in the southern Philippines. Known for kidnappings, bombings, and assassinations, ASG seeks to establish an independent Islamic state in Mindanao. 3. Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters, BIFF, a breakaway faction of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, MILF. BIFF opposes the peace process between the MILF and the Philippine government and seeks an independent Islamic state in Mindanao. 4. Maute Group, an Islamist militant group that pledged allegiance to ISIS. The group gained notoriety for its involvement in the 2017 Marawi siege. 5. Moro National Liberation Front, MNLF. Although it has signed peace agreements with the government, some factions of the MNLF remain active and continue to engage in occasional hostilities. 6. Jamaah Islamiyah, JI, an Indonesia-based terrorist group with ties to Al-Qaeda and regional affiliates, including some elements in the Philippines. JI aims to establish an Islamic caliphate in Southeast Asia. These groups vary in their ideologies, objectives, and areas of operation, but all contribute to the ongoing conflict and instability in parts of the Philippines. The political situation between China and the Philippines has several potential dangers, primarily revolving around territorial disputes in the South China Sea. Here are some of the main concerns. 1. Military conflict. The most immediate danger is the potential for military conflict. Both countries have a significant military presence in the region, and confrontations between their naval forces could escalate into broader hostilities. 2. Economic impact. Any conflict or heightened tensions could disrupt trade routes that are vital for global commerce. The South China Sea is a major conduit for international shipping, and instability could have wide-ranging economic consequences. 3. Regional stability. Tensions between China and the Philippines could draw in other countries with interests in the South China Sea, including the United States, Japan, and members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN. This could lead to a broader regional conflict. 4. Resource competition. The South China Sea is rich in natural resources, including fisheries and potential oil and gas reserves. Disputes over access to these resources can exacerbate tensions and lead to environmental degradation. 5. Diplomatic strains. Ongoing disputes strain diplomatic relations not just between China and the Philippines, but also between China and other countries with claims in the South China Sea. This can hinder cooperation on other important issues such as climate change, trade, and regional security. 6. Nationalism. Nationalist sentiments in both countries can fuel aggressive policies and make diplomatic resolutions more difficult. Public opinion can push leaders to take a harder stance, reducing the space for negotiation and compromise. 7. Legal disputes. International legal mechanisms, like the Permanent Court of Arbitration ruling in favor of the Philippines in 2016, have been rejected by China, leading to a lack of a clear legal framework to resolve disputes. This legal ambiguity can lead to more confrontations. Addressing these dangers requires careful diplomacy, adherence to international law, and efforts to build confidence and cooperation between the involved parties. Political and security situation. While the territorial disputes with China primarily affect maritime areas, it's important to stay informed about the broader political and security situation in the country. Some regions, particularly in the southern Philippines, have experienced conflict and instability. Urban areas and popular tourist destinations tend to be safer.
Hey, thanks for that report, Adam. Thanks for the details. So, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on internally and some international stuff going on with the Chinese. But that's not all of it. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of hostility towards foreigners. I can tell you, just walking through any barangay, with the exception of, the major tourist locations, get a lot of dirty looks. I've had places where I really didn't feel safe, didn't feel comfortable. And like I said, I was raised in Houston, been in war zones my whole life, and I can tell a dirty look. I can tell a suspicious look. I understand body language. I've studied it. I've been trained in it. And I see body language that is not positive. So I'm always watching my back. I'm always securing my perimeter at my home. But that's life in any country. But it seems like for some reason here it's a little bit different, a lot more hostilities. And keep in mind, just a few years ago, they were pushing the U.S. military bases out of the Philippines. Now all of a sudden they're open arms, come on back. But in the meantime, they showed to me, at least back then, that there was a lot of politicians that really had a bitter taste in their mouth towards Americans. And I gotta say that taste is probably still there. But they understand we're in a need that they really have to swallow. Because the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and I think we might be the friend. But in any event, we need to make sure that that when we're coming here, if we're going to spend all of our retirement money, you need to make sure what you're doing. I mean, coming here and building a home, and you can't even own the property under it. So, is it really something you want to do? I mean, I can think of a million other places that would allow you to own not only the dwelling, but the property under it. You can't do that here. And if you're hooked up with a female, she can pull that carpet out from under you anytime. That's not really one situation that I feel comfortable with. But in any event, having said that, I hope this answers a few questions, and I'm hoping that if you do have questions, you'll throw them in down below. I'll answer them as best as I can. I know it's probably going to pee off some people, me talking about this, but hey, you know what? I think a lot of people got their head buried in the sand in this matter, and it come back and bite them. I just don't know if they're that ignorant, not paying attention to world events, or just thinking it'll never happen to me. Don't think like that, because that's how many people have said that and had it come back and bite them hard. And if you're putting all your retirement money and all your eggs in that basket and things go wrong, you better have a plan B. Okay? Having said that, that's all I got to ramble about today. Y'all have a great day. Talk to you later.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the little bell icon so you'll be notified whenever we post new content. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep creating amazing videos for you. See you in the next one.